Hello, my friends. Hey, this is Rosa. Hopefully, your favorite real estate broker. Yes, my friends, we are here with the Monday market update. That's right, the Monday market update. I know you have questions about what's going on with real estate. You want to know, hey, how can I sell my home with confidence? What do I need to know, Rob? I'm here to share that with you. You want to have the tips for buyer's agreements and what to do when starting to take a look at a home. I mean, I just went over that with 3 people over the weekend. You want to know of the tips for sellers of what to do when closing on a home. Well, we're going to go over that. And right now, it is the end of April, but guess what? We have the March number. So we're going to review where we stand up until March 2025. And we're going to give you the latest, the greatest info. Now, if you like what you're seeing here today, once again, my friends, I usually always remind people, leave some comments. Maybe you want to share this with someone that you care about. Maybe you want to give some likes and all that kind of good stuff. So your likes, your shares, your questions, your comments just makes it for a better discussion so that we can review what's going on, what's the latest and greatest info. All right. So let's start off with March 2025 numbers, right? And we are going to review those and see what you think about it. Well, this is kind of an interesting number because some people, they will look at this information and what are they going to say? They're going to say, you know what, Rob, I knew it. The numbers are down, right? I knew it, Rob. There's not as many homes being sold on the marketplace. Okay. So for instance, closed sales for minus 4.8%. Well, the truth of that, my friends, is why are there less sales? Now, this might sound self-serving because I am a real estate broker, right? But the truth of the matter is that we just haven't had as many sales here in Connecticut because we don't have enough homes. And I'm going to show you that there is a little bit of slight upward inventory number, which you can see there is 2.9% compared to the previous March. But we are still only about 2 months worth of inventory. So we're going to show you those numbers of what's going on with single family homes in the state of Connecticut. And the only reason I can promise you is that we still don't have enough homes for sale. That's why there's less closed sales, because I have lined up, no lie, 5, 7, 12, 15 buyers for every home that comes on the market. Okay. Pending sales are up 4.9%, which is good. Median sales price, if you're a seller, well, I can tell you, right? The month of April has been hot. The month of March has been hot. Sales prices are up. I met with someone that I care about, which I care about my clients, right? I met with someone on Saturday and they were like, oh, you know what, Rob? I wanted to buy 2 years ago, but it just kind of didn't work out. And I said, well, what happened? I don't know. We got pre-approved and we looked at a few houses and it just didn't work out. I said, well, what didn't work out about it? I said, because I can tell you one thing that didn't work out about it. I don't remember you calling me. And they started laughing. And it's kind of like funny, jokey, ha, ha, ha. But it's not funny because I said to them, well, why do you think you didn't buy? And they said, well, I don't know. Didn't feel like maybe that agent was helping us find the right houses. It didn't feel like we understood our numbers. And thank you so much for your likes and your views, Joanne, Lindsay, Scott, Pat. I appreciate you joining us. And it just didn't feel like anybody was ready to really help us out. And I'm looking at this median sales price number right here, 7.1% of prices being up from March of 2024 to March of 2025. And I said to her, to be straightforward with you, people don't kind of just float away when I help them buy a home. So don't take it. I'm not disparaging another agent. That wouldn't be nice to do, right? But you didn't call me and you knew me. I said, and honestly, you lost about $60,000. Well, what do you mean? I can't believe it. I lost about $60,000. Well, I said, well, how much of a house were you going to buy? Which I knew, you know, they were going to buy a house between $400,000 and $450,000. They were thinking is where they wanted to be. And I said, well, over the past 2 years, the prices of homes have gone up over the last 2 years about 15%. Now, historically, if you take a look at all these years back, which I can show you, and we're going to go over those numbers in a little while, it's not as much. But over the last 2 years, there's been about 15% worth of appreciation. So if you were going to buy a 400 something thousand dollar house, that's about $60,000. And they were like, "Ah," and I said, well, look, don't fret. Don't feel bad about it. Just know that I am now here to help you. All right. So here's the numbers with the Greater Hartford of Association of Realtors housing market snapshot, right? Closed sales are minus 4.8% because we just don't have that many houses for sale. Pendings are up just a little bit, 4.9. Median sales prices up 7.1%, my friends. So that's kind of where we stand on that. Now, before we go over the stats, right, which I want to keep on going over more numbers, I would like to talk with you about something that's near and dear to my heart. And what's near and dear to my heart is marketing, right? I have a bachelor's degree in marketing and I have a master's degree in marketing. I love to be able to take properties, whether they are an investment property, right? Whether it's a gas station, a warehouse, a luxury home. I've done luxury homes, plenty of them. I've been in magazines for some of these luxury homes. I've sold a few antique homes. I've sold a horse farm. I've sold a bar, a restaurant, a strip club, a strip bar, okay, adult entertainment, strip plazas, beautiful condos, beautiful single family homes, multi-family homes. If you don't know me by now, I'm an expert on those, but I can tell you the ways in which, right, I can sell your property with confidence so that you can do what? You can maximize your profit in the best time frame for you. So one of the things I always mention is, hey, listen, one of the things I can promise you is that if you decide to sell your house and you need to buy another one, you will not be homeless, my friends. I do this every day. This is not my part-time gig, right? This is not something that I want to do just once in a while and talk about it. Okay. So we know specifically here in Connecticut, there's still not enough homes being constructed, right? They're not there. We don't have construction. I mean, we have a little bit here and there, but you tell me, when was the last time you saw a big subdivision being built here in Connecticut? And I'm talking about 50, 60, 100 new homes in one subdivision. I haven't seen it. Now, maybe you know of one, let me know. But basically, especially here in Connecticut, we have had more than a decade of underbuilding. And what that has done is it is driving up the prices of existing properties. So if you're thinking about selling right now, along with these mortgage rates that are kind of leveling off, now is the best time, unless, you know, Lord help us, there's some kind of huge economic or government problem. Right now, this is the best time to sell your property. So let's face it, what's number one? It's on everybody's mind. We try to talk about some of the other things that, of course, that are more important or just as important. But guess what? People are nervous about setting the sale price. To me, it's easy. I've only been doing it for about 25 years. Debbie, Jody, Ricky, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, everyone, put your comments in there, any questions you have on Market Monday with Rosa. All right. So, selling a home is complicated, or selling a property, even selling a business. And the thing about selling is that sometimes it gets to be an emotional process. It gets to be something where, you're not sure about where you're going to go. You felt comfortable, you felt safe. Well, the point is if you're feeling that you need to get that experience from an agent who's going to be there for you every step of the way, I'm right here for you, my friends. So, someone like me with the experience, the training, the knowledge, we're going to help you in today's tricky market. We're going to make sure that number one, we set the sales price correctly. Number two is preparing your home. Preparing your home. Someone like me, we can help you prepare your property. We can give you improvement suggestions or staging tips. One of the things that some people tell us is, oh, well, I'm thinking about selling, but I'm not going to sell until I put on a new roof, until I paint the whole house, until I redo my kitchen, my bathroom. I can tell you most of the time, not every single circumstance, but most of the time, it makes sense to put your home, put your property on the market. Let's get you to that next step because it is such a hot market right now. Now, if you have office space, that's a little bit tougher, right? Office space right now in Hartford and 30, 40 miles out, there's not a huge demand for that. I think you can probably understand why. I don't know a lot of new people starting a new business that need office space. Do you? Right? And hey, Maggie, thank you so much um, about your comments there. I definitely appreciate it. And I appreciate your likes and your gifts. All right. So number one, we talked about setting the sales price. Number two, preparing your home. I even have a home stager that I can help you with. I've taken home staging courses. I have, this is a really pretty cool thing. And I love doing it. I have someone on my team who kind of does it for me, but sometimes I sit there and do it myself. Is the virtual stager. So if you have a property, especially ones that are vacant, I can go into this computer system and I got to make sure the computer I use is the best one because it takes up a lot of memory. And I'm able to put all different types of furniture in there. And then AI will give me suggestions on what to do, how to do it. I can tell them what style I like. Do I want coastal? Do I want cottage? Do I want traditional? And it's really kind of cool. And I do this for a lot of my vacant properties. So that would be number two, preparing your home. Number three, this is what I'm pretty good. I mean, I hate to say I'm pretty good, but I love these things, marketing it in all the right places. So one of the great things that I did is I partnered my real estate brokerage license with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services of America, New England Properties. Before then, let me tell you a little story about me, and I won't make it too long, but this is the honest to God's truth. I had my own real estate company, but my ego was a lot bigger than my wallet because I would walk around and tell people, hey, well, why would I join them? I have my own real estate company. I have 20, 30 agents that work for me. But guess what I also had? I had this bill, that bill, this bill, this bill, this bill, this bill. And then every time I went to go talk with somebody about selling their property, selling their business, they used to say, well, this big real estate company does this. Can you do this too? And I'd be like, of course I can. And they'd be looking at me, well, this big company is going to do that. Can you do that too? And I'd be like, yes, I could do that, which I could do it because kind of all real estate agents, a lot of them have the same tools, but it costs a lot of money to invest in them. And I'd be like, oh man, well, I'd be telling myself, I really want this listing. And I said that I would do that. So, of course, I'm going to because I do what I say I'm going to do. But it was going to be really, really expensive. So, right now, with Berkshire Hathaway and my personal marketing tools that very, very few agents in Connecticut have, the ones that I have, because there is exclusivity with these systems, is I'm going to get your home a very, very wide exposure. I have the marketing savvy that you need so that we can get in front of the right buyers. And we're talking about everywhere online that you need to be. Okay. We're going to get you where you want to be in the right time frame. And we are going to make sure that we pre-screen the buyers. Yes, there's no special technology for that. Guess what it is? Making phone calls, talking to that lender. In most cases, I already know the lender and I call them up. They're like, hey, Rob, how's it going? Yeah, I was just going to call you. We made an offer on one of your properties. And they're going to give me the ins and outs. And they know, of course, I'm not going to get personal information some of the time, but they know that if they lie to me, if they're not truthful, they're going to get it right back. They're going to get hammered by me because I'm going to work hard for my seller to make sure that we're not wasting our time and money. So number 3 was marketing in all the right places when we are trying to sell your property with confidence. Number 4 is negotiating contracts. Hey, Frank, Lane, Bonnie, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate all of you. We appreciate your likes and your shares. So I will be a skilled negotiator on your behalf. I'm going to help with any kind of last minute concession requests. You see, I got a phone call this morning. Oh, man. What did this gentleman do? And this is kind of for one of these renovation projects that I have going on. He called me up, and right from the start, he's talking about buyer seller concessions, right? And he's talking about seller credit, seller financing. So seller credits, he wants to put in a low offer. He wants to get some seller financing. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. I asked him, do you have another agent? No. I asked him, would you like to talk about me being your agent? Well, maybe, I don't want to waste your time. I just want to kind of make an offer, see what we can do. And I said, listen, bud, hold up. Stop the presses. Okay. I am not that agent that you think you're going to call me and give me some crazy offer, right? Where then I'm going to, I'm not your agent. I'm going to start talking with the buyer. We're going to start going back and forth. And then you're going to keep changing your mind because and you haven't even seen the property yet. I had a buyer like that about 3 months ago. Every now and then someone has to put Rob Rose in his place to remind him, hey, Rob, remember, this is how you do it the absolute best way. This buyer, every time my seller would agree to something, because they would do it verbally, my seller would agree, and then the buyer would change their mind. They'd write something else down differently. And I said, you know what? We're not going to go down this road. We're going to make sure that we handle concessions and requests the right way. We're going to draw it up on the purchase and sale agreements, make sure we know all the essential and finer points to the transaction. And we're going to get it in writing and get both parties' agreement. Okay. So that's very, very important, making sure that we're negotiating the right way. And then number 5 is representing you, where we're going to be able to help you look out for property inspections, property appraisal, transfer of title, making sure that you are all set where you're going to move to, if that's what it means. Right? Because maybe you're moving to Tennessee, North Carolina, Montana, Georgia, Florida. And guess what? I know people in those areas. Oh, yeah, sure, Rob. How do you know? Well, for quite a few years, I think it was about 6 or 7 years, there was a particular program that was being sold to the agents and the multiple listing services. You wouldn't know it as a regular consumer. Okay, it was actually called Listing Book. And what I would do is I was hired to go nationwide, and I'd go probably like 3, 4, 5, 6 days a month, maybe a couple days here, a couple days there, and I'd go to multiple listing services all over the country to train them on these systems. Hey, Carol Ann, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. And so the point is I met agents all over the country. So you need an agent in Long Beach? I know him. I have five. I have a list of at least 5. You need an agent in St. Louis, El Paso, San Antonio, Charlotte, Louisville, Miami, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Tampa, New Orleans. The list can go on and on and on, my friends. And I know someone. And with Berkshire Hathaway, I do have a nationwide referral network that I can help you out with. So, anyways, just to do a quick little recap, my friends, how to sell your property with confidence. And Rob Rosa and the Rob Rosa team were ranked in the top 1% of the country, right? Number one, we're going to make sure you agree with and understand how we're setting the sales price. Number two, how are we going to prepare that property for sale? Maybe it means we do nothing. Maybe it means we have to do a couple of things. Number three is, do you understand the marketing is going to be in all the right places, and understand what we're going to do with our exclusive marketing systems? Number four, making sure we negotiate all those contracts, the purchase and sale agreements, so forth, the right way for you, the most important person, the client. And then number five, representing you that, hey, there's more that comes to this, right? We have to make sure we understand what's going to happen with the contingencies, the appraisal, the transfer, all those things that do come up that are so important. Now, when it comes to people buying and selling properties, like I said, I have some buyer tips and some seller tips that I want to review with you. But before we do that, my friends, let's go over some more data, right? And so here we are, right? Here is data right from the multiple listing service, okay? So let's see here if I can get you on this screen, right? And so what we're talking about is single family properties, not multi-family properties, but we're talking about if you see all property types. Hey, Liz, Eric, Delia, thank you so much for joining us. All property types, all bedrooms, all baths. And you see, this is a 10-year rolling average, my friends. Okay, so what we're talking about is a 10-year rolling average number. And I know that sometimes it can get a little bit tricky here to see this, but we can see here that for March of 2025, the median sales price is $400,000. Well, what was it for February? $400,000. Well, what was it for January? So we're kind of flat, but you can see over the last 10 years, this is a peak, right, that we're on. We're on a little peak of a plateau. Is it going to go on forever? Will it go down just a little bit? Who knows? We're trying our best to sell properties for the most money possible. And if you're a buyer, don't get mad about that, because you ultimately want to buy a property and have it go up as well. Now, this next number is new listings. All right. So for the month of March, we had 41,414 new listings. Okay. For the month of February, it was a little bit lower, right? For the month of January, it was a little bit higher, but we're running about this 40,000 number you can see here since technically, give or take, around July, Well, I guess June or July of last year, we've been anywhere from between 39 to 41,000 new listings. All right. So, what does that tell you? It's not like back in the olden days. If you look at back here, May of 2021, 65,000 new listings. I mean, that's a huge difference, my friends. 65,000 new listings in May of 2021 versus 41,000. And that, I can promise you, is one of the reasons why homes are not selling as fast, or I guess I should say why we didn't have as many closings. Now, this next number right here is homes for sale. So right now, as of March, the entire MLS had about 6,203 homes for sale. In February, about 6167, 6164. So you see here, we've been running around the 6,000 mark basically since last spring, right? Homes for sale. Okay. We used to have more homes for sale. Right? You can see there, January 2020, we had 19,600 homes for sale. All right. Pending sales. Well, is that number starting to go up just a little bit? Yes, but not a lot. I mean, we're at about 34,000. There would be more pending sales if we had more properties for sale. We have closed sales here, right? In the month of March, 34,000. All right. Days on market. Oh, Rob, I can tell you houses are definitely staying longer on the market. Well, my friends, I don't know what news you've been watching. I don't know what internet sites you've been going on, but here's what's going on in Connecticut is that in March, in February, in January, in December, in November, in October, since last October, the average or the median days, let's look up average number. All right. The average number is 26 days on the market. But remember, that includes everything from foreclosures to short sale. The median number is 10 days on the market. Okay. Now, here's a number that I really look at and I kind of think is near and dear to my heart because it gives me an explanation about who's got more leverage and power. So I've been told by more than one real estate guru that if we had anywhere from 6 to 8 months of supply of homes on the market, that's considered to be a balanced market, meaning that buyers and sellers have about the same amount of power. When we talk about negotiating and leverage and that sort of thing. So you can see here, we've been running about 2 months supply of homes on the market since last spring. And so what does this number really mean? Months supply of homes on the market. Well, what that means is that if we had all the homes on some shelf, right, the grocery store shelves to sell, and we did not replenish those shelves at all, we did not get any new listings, within 2 months, we'd have no homes on the market. We'd have none available for sale. So hopefully that makes sense to you. If you're not getting that 100%, if you don't understand what I'm saying, all you need to do is put a question in the chat and let me know, and we can definitely talk more about it, right? And of course, if you like what you're hearing, if you think it's interesting, just let me know. Now, the next number I want to go over with you, we're going to go over 2 more numbers, all right? And that is percentage of last list price. So to me, this is a strange number. And the reason why is because some sellers might be getting a little bit greedy, and they've been hearing all those exceptions to the rule, and they really want to put their house on the market for, of course, a really high price. But we are running about 101%, give or take. If you look over here, since October, we've been about 101% of last list price. So we're selling homes. We still are selling homes for more, on average, more than the list price. And the last number we're going to go over is the median. I'm actually going to change this over to average. The average price per square foot. And look at what's happened since 2020, right? You can see forever and ever, it was about the mid to high 150s. And I'm talking about, when I say forever, we're talking about over the last 10 years, right? So from 2015 till about 2020, we know what happened in 2020. But guess what? The price per square foot keeps on going up. It's $271 price per square foot right now, and we haven't seen it gone down. So if you really want to understand this whole story about price per square foot, all you need to do is look down at your floor and be like, wow, if I'm going to sell this property, right, that 1 square foot, which I think is kind of amazing, is going for $271. That's pretty wild. All right, so that's the market data of this call. Now I want to go over 2 more topics and categories with you. So the next topic we're going to talk about, unless you have questions, because if you have questions, all you need to do is ask me and we'll go over them. But we're going to go over tips for buyers before signing a buyer's agent agreement. When I talk to people every day, we have a discussion. We discuss what they're looking to do, what I do, how I might be able to help them. And if they want to move further, very straightforwardly, we sign a buyer's representation agreement. You might be like, oh, that doesn't seem fair to me. Well, then you want to work with someone that's not going to be loyal to you? Does that make sense to you? Right? You see, the buyer's rep agreement protects the buyer and, of course, the agent just a little bit. Right? Because everything is put out there. There's full transparency. It's in black and white writing. There's no surprises. Do you like to have surprises when it comes to your money? Not unless they're in the plus mark, not unless you go to the slot machines, right? So a buyer's agent agreement is usually a pretty good situation. It's a positive thing. It doesn't have to be for 3 years. It might be for a year. It might be for 6 months. It might be for 3 months. It might be for that one property. It might be for that one day. Whatever you and your agent agree upon. With me, I'm going to be flexible with you. If it looks like you're going to be buying foreclosure, a short sale property that sometimes could be on the market for 2 years, who knows? Maybe, by the time the lender gets to doing everything, who knows what we're going to do it, how long we're going to do it for. But here's what we have to think about. Number one, right? What are the services that you expect? Okay. What's the full range of services that your agent or that I'm going to give you? Well, with me, I'm going to give you a system that basically mirrors the MLS. Oh, anybody can get that, Rob. Not anybody. Go to Zillow. Do you know how much wrong stuff is on Zillow? Yes, I said it. Zillow, you don't like it, too bad. All right. Do you know how much wrong information is on some of these public websites? Right? They are trying to get clicks from you so that they can resell and get money from real estate agents. So make sure you understand what's the service. Is that agent going to be available on weekends? Is that agent going to be available in the evenings? Right now, I'm getting prepared to drive about 15, 20 miles and do a listing presentation and talk with someone about selling their investment property. Okay. I'll probably be out till 7:30 this evening. I worked all day yesterday. I worked all day Sunday, Saturday and Sunday. And then if I do take a day off, I have my team to coach, to support you, to work with you and for you. even though I will never pawn you off to another agent. But hey, Method Man, O-Dog, Bonnie, Joanne, Gerald, thank you so much for joining us, my friends. We appreciate it. Right now, we're doing Monday Market with Rosa. Negotiate the compensation. Yes. Ask that agent, how much are they willing to, what's the fee for them to help you? Okay. Do they have negotiation skills? How long have they been doing this? What are they going to do for you? And lastly, is what is the financial help that they can offer you with different mortgage programs? Now, you might say, hey, Rob, that's a lender's type of thing. Well, guess what? It kind of is, but it kind of isn't. Because you see, the lender and your buyer agent, they have to work together and understand each other and understand what you are trying to do. It's like a triangle relationship. And if they don't talk, if they don't have a strategy together, a plan together, well, do they know how are the closing costs going to work? What's the best way to put an offer together that the seller is willing to accept? You see, that's pretty huge, because if the seller's not if you're not putting an offer in today's market that you have to be like a peacock, right? Spreading your wings to show them how beautiful of a buyer you are, to show them how wonderful of a buyer you are, well, then guess what? Your offer is probably not going to get accepted. And I have a list that I actually got from a lender that I worked with for a long time that him and I put together, and it's the 17 items that will help get your offer accepted. You want a copy of it? Well, give me a call. I don't give it to everybody. I give it to my clients. So if you become my client, I will give you that list for free, and we'll go over each one, and we'll talk about each one of the different things that we can possibly do that you feel comfortable with so that you can get your offer accepted. All right. So those are the tips for buyers. Now, lastly, unless you have questions here, make sure you put them in there. Colton, Victor, Andy, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you. And everyone, once again, if you see something that you like, if this information is helpful to you, please make sure likes and shares are definitely important. But what we're going to talk about is the tips for sellers. All right. And so really, when it comes down to sellers and your money, do you understand how much equity you will get, how much money you can walk away from with the sale of your property? And then when you do walk away with that money, is it an investment property? Will a 1031 exchange be the best way to go? If it's a primary home, do you have to pay capital gains? Have you talked to an accountant? Have you talked to an attorney? Has someone had the conversation with you to save you, not only make you the most money, because not everyone, but many people feel like, well, I'm going to go with this agent because they told me they can sell it at this price. Okay. Well, how are they going to do that? How long are you going to wait for that? Have they done that before? Do they have the knowledge and the experience to say, look, I sold these houses at this price range, and I sold them this amount above asking, and here's my recommendation. And when you hear that, right? When you hear that, when you see that, when you smell, is it just commission breath, right? Does it sound right? Does it sound for real that person is sincere, caring, honest, and saying, hey, here's what I've done in the past, and here's what I can do for you that I think will really help you get to where you want to be. All right. So with that, my friends, hopefully you found some great useful info. We went over the Greater Hartford Association of Realtor numbers in the beginning of this video, right? Then we spoke about selling your property with confidence and the 5 ways in order to do that. Then we went over the multiple listing service in the whole state of Connecticut. And we talked about days on market. We talked about average sales price per square foot, right? And then lastly, we talked about tips for buyers and tips for sellers. So with that, that was this week's Market Monday with Rosa. I hope that you are getting to where you need to be, where you want to be on a daily basis. I hope you're striving to make that happen. If you need my help, you need my advice, I help people every day. I even help people with credit repair nationwide. I help people with the real estate pre-licensing class in the state of Connecticut. Just know that I'm a listening ear for you. All you need to do is call me or text me. And I definitely wish that God continues to bless you. I hope you have an awesome, awesome beginning start to the week, and we'll talk soon. All right. This is Rob Rosa. Hopefully your favorite real estate broker. And we'll talk to you soon, my friends. Thanks again.